USFanTV, it's a very special edition of USFanTV because it is the final USFan of 2017. And we've threatened this before, but back when we threatened it before, we were saying it was going to be the final USFanTV ever because we didn't know if the show would go on or we didn't qualify for the World Cup.
We really thought that was the last. But alas.
But we kept doing it because there was more.
We have managed to hang on, and so have you guys. So thanks for that.
It's amazing. We should tell you, very important here. I am Pat. He is Chris.
That means when he says I'm Chris, I am Chris.
It's true. What this means is this is the last show of 2017 because next week is Christmas and we've got stuff going on and we're not going to – I'm traveling Thursday, so there will be no shows until 2018 unless we need an emergency show for some reason. We were right to do it.
There would be some crazy things to happen if that were the case, but yeah, I don't see that happening.
But otherwise, we'll see you in the new year. So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We have to talk
if not, I'll see you in hell.
We have to talk about the 77th best player in the world, Christian Pulisic.
And it will be interesting when we get to that who number 79 is.
Ooh, there's a tease. I don't know. You're going to have to surprise me with that. So the 77th best player in the world, according to The Guardian, Christian Pulisic, who scored the game-winning goal in the 89th minute against Hoffenheim. Not surprisingly, after I, in our last episode of USFanTV, said if Christian Pulisic wants to be, mentioned in the same breath as awesome players, he's got to get a goal or an assist here sometime soon because it had been a while. He had been in a bit of a drought. So he listened to us. That's what he did. And not only did he get a goal, he got a game-winning goal in sort of a crazy switch foot fashion at the very end of a match to win it. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, and I mean, his touches to do it were pretty nice. I mean, to get the first one, then it's kind of knocked by the keeper, and then he finishes it again. It was showing speed, touch, vision, all the stuff that he's in possession of, and that we're kind of all in awe of him for.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I was pissed because I wasn't able to see it live. It was one of those things where I was checking my Twitter at. I think I was running my son to one of the various things that I was running him to on Saturday. I had caught part of that game, and then I saw the goal on Twitter, and I was excited. So wish I would have seen it live, but Twitter was the next best thing, and lives for eternity. Look who's here for the final show of 2017, brought to you by Chase, TJ. Hi, TJ.
Man, in classic TJ
why would he have
his mic is not on.
Why would he not have, why would he have his mic on? Why would he start now? We don't hear you. It'll click on in a second. Classic.
What a way to finish the year. Can we hear you? We cannot hear you. I can see you. Wait.
Just text him or something.
Yeah.
There he goes. Yeah. Dortmund have they're riding a 2-game Peter Stoger winning streak since the coaching change, and tomorrow they got a big one in the Pokal. They got Bayern.
Yeah.
This early on, that's pretty crazy. But
talk about getting into the Pokal.
Bayern, if somebody knows, I haven't looked because I've been lazy. If somebody knows if that's on TV here in America, does Fox have that or does somebody else? Is that an ESPN
property?
Will
know in a second here.
Look at you with the internet. That's great. So,
internet machine, work for me. It is on TV on ESPN2.
All right, there you go.
Or ESPN Deportes.
The Deuce. So yeah, that'll be good to watch tomorrow. I assume he starts. We'll see. That's basically the most entertaining game there is. It's tied with a few others probably, but for me, it's the atmosphere, the hype. I love that match, and for it to be happening and so early in the Pokal is crazy. But whatever, we get an extra one. So
it's a Christmas gift. You could say.
TJ, can we hear you?
I don't know. Can you hear me, or am I just?
Hey! Very good. You pushed buttons. Very good.
Although I was still finishing up a conference call when I called in, so
I see you switched. You were brought to us by Chase before, but you switched to a different shirt. It looks like.
Yeah, like I said, I was finishing a conference call for putting your tax dollars hard at work. So
excellent. Welcome to the show. It's our final show of 2017, and we couldn't do it without you, to be honest. So
you could. It would only be better if I wasn't here.
Probably.
This show will at least be as entertaining as that Arsenal game today.
Arsenal played today?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Okay.
You can say a win's a win, but I suppose based on where our show was 2 months ago, a win's a win. But, yeah, that was not a pretty game today. Back, though, for a moment to our Pokal match, of which we spoke moments ago. So, in the Guardian's list of top 100 footballers in Europe, as we know, Christian Pulisic was named number 77. Number 79, Mr. Arjen Robben.
Ooh, the guy I always compare to Pulisic.
Yes, indeed. I also found it interesting, 78, Keylor Navas.
Interesting. So Pulisic, are there
another
players ahead of?
That I didn't check, actually. I didn't think to check that.
Player? I can't imagine.
I would think he has to be, because it's not going to be
Chicharito or Chucky, maybe.
Yeah, I don't see either of them getting ahead right now.
Speaking of Chucky,
maybe if he does make the move to Arsenal and it turned out well,
maybe we have to cheer for Chucky here soon enough.
Yeah. Other players I thought were of interest below him: Thomas Lemar, David Luiz, Jordi Alba.
Those are names.
Mkhitaryan. And one that will be of interest in another thing we have to discuss, Cesc Fabregas at number 93. Cesc, of course, being supposedly the player that Emerson Hyndman most wanted to emulate his game on 10 years ago or so.
Cesc was awesome. Not so much anymore.
Once upon a time he was.
Yeah. He was awesome.
Emerson Hyndman appeared to be awesome about 10 months ago, and has not really played since. So,
yeah. Well,
at least in the last 5 months. So,
yeah, it's been not what we had hoped for him after killing it at Rangers. But is he healthy? Do we know that he's totally healthy at this point? Or I haven't heard. I don't know. I hope that's not the end of it. Just that little flash in the pan Rangers experience. But that's the thing. The Scottish League.
He has played 2 or 3 games now in the what's the name the National Cup. I can't think of what they call it.
Cup.
Yeah, thank you. Now we're sharing the crab cup. Yes, he has played 2 or 3 games for Bournemouth in that, so he is getting some time, but he's not getting it in the league, and that's where we need to see it. But anyway, we can continue back to our boy Pulisic.
Interesting that Robben's 79. Robben was top 10 in the world, I believe, on that list 5 years ago.
It's because of age.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he's the first American to have ever made the list. It's only 5 years.
He's one of, I think, like 3 teenagers or something like that.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford is 2 ahead of him. I didn't look where what's his name from PSG now is.
See, Jameson, you got to do what like the opposing fans would do with Jordan when the Bulls would come to town in the 90s. You got to hope for like some Pulisic goals or something awesome, but your team Bayern still wins. That's what I would do. You'll see something nice from him, but he still loses. Kind of like the last time Dortmund played Bayern. He didn't score, but he was really good in that match. So, yeah. So they play tomorrow, and then Germany's on break. Like most of the world is on break at that point, just not England. So we'll see. But also today, the news in MLS, Nashville is getting one of the expansion franchises. So the 2 teams that going based
officially they are not yet, but there is an announcement set for tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Nashville?
Yeah, in Nashville with Don Garber and a bunch of other people. Yeah.
So Nashville. I will say this. I think that if they didn't really earn it in the same way that Cincinnati or Sacramento would have earned it with crowds and fan intensity and that sort of thing. But I think it's a great city for a team, having been there the last the last couple summers for matches, or 2 of the last 3 summers for matches.
Yeah,
we've
2
been
of the
there.
last 3 now. Yeah.
The top of my head burned alive, fried with a little metal dot on my hat. It was so hot the last time we were there, and the U.S.
sacrificed flesh.
It was a terrible, terrible match, but other than that, the city seemed excited for it, and you can tell because, like, you turn on the news, and the local news is treating it like a big deal that a game is there. You turn on the news in Chicago, and then there's a soccer game in town. Nobody usually cares, and when they do care, they're asking if the Fire are going to win the World Cup. So,
or it's a case of like looking for Messi because he didn't show up to his own match.
That was bad. That was really bad. Messi and friends, and it turned out to just be friends.
That was just friends.
That was bad.
And weren't some of the friends just guys like pub player guys, like guys that played at Northwestern?
I think so. Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
Didn't you play in that game?
I think we all could have. I think they probably would have been like, sure. You look like Messi, right?
Yeah.
See?
So, I mean, good for Nashville. It's a fun city to visit. The hot chicken and the beer and they're great. The girls are pretty, but for my money, Cincinnati and Sacramento probably should have gotten the 2 teams, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't matter who. It's MLS. It's not, and nothing's done by merit. It's done by money. and so
what?
And Cincinnati has the money. They don't have the stadium yet. That's the problem Cincinnati's still facing. They don't have the.
Yeah.
Nashville has approved the stadium. They're pretty close to level and ground. I believe so is Sacramento.
Well, Nashville, aren't they just really upgrading the stadium that's already in place on just turning it into a soccer stadium on the fairgrounds there? Or are they completely demolishing it and rebuilding that? I know I've looked at it. I know I've read about it. I know I read about it while I was in Nashville, but I don't remember what the details were.
I have no idea.
I wear the Colorado hat because I love Colorado. I got it in Colorado and I like it. So,
the answer with Sacramento is, rumor is Sacramento, the money, supposedly they had to Meg Whitman, who has the money, but that was been the question. Do they have the money that MLS wants? Although she's a billionaire. I don't know what, unless she's not taking a very active role within. That's the new rumors why Sacramento hasn't been greenlighted. And I feel like Sacramento is kind of what Houston was with the NFL for years. They're just going to keep holding it over until you really run out of options, even though they should have had it years early.
And I think, too, the success of Atlanta has helped the Nashville bid, too, because they saw what happened in a market that hasn't embraced sports at times, at least professional sports. And so a team that's not all that far away, there's another natural rival.
I think the big thing is having an NFL owner behind it. They like that connection. They like that money. Maybe it's the connection to Bob Kraft. I don't know. I don't know what it is in particular, but they do seem to like NFL owners owning MLS teams as well.
So there you go. Nashville's getting a team. Maybe we'll go on a road trip. And then we'll wait and see. I think that what I was hearing on Twitter, and who the hell knows if it's true, but it seems like Nashville or MLS is going to wait a few weeks on the other announcement. So we won't know until 2018 who's getting the other team, but maybe Nashville starts by itself, and then maybe we have to wait another year for the other team, and maybe they would join with Beckham United.
My question, though, is what if they award one of them an expansion, say they go to Cincinnati with the expansion, and then Sacramento somehow gets a moved team like the Austin Crew? Because, hey, that guy's sure talking like he's moving to Austin, but I don't know, can't the league change anything? It's all make-believe anyway.
Well, the league can change anything, and also I believe it's been pointed, again, take Twitter for what you will, there's some law in Ohio that they have to offer it to local ownership first. It's going to keep the team there. So
that would be nice.
If that's all true, Precourt better be lawyering the fuck up. And what about the possibility of saying, you know what, screw you, we're going to give it to the learners and put it in Cincinnati?
That is a good point. I should have said the other way around. Yeah, what if they take the team to Sacramento and allow maybe the Crew to move to Cincinnati or something? I still don't want to see the Crew move out of Columbus. I mean, I am 100% save the Crew. Even though I never really liked the Crew, I do like Columbus, and I don't want to see them lose a team. I also don't want to see it lost as a site for national team games, and I think that's certain to happen if they move.
Well, yeah, like I've said, I like the city for national team games a lot. I don't like the stadium anymore. I think the stadium I think Precourt's right. The stadium needed to be upgraded. He can probably do that himself and keep the team there, but instead of being an asshole about it. But the stadium could use a roof and some other modern amenities to bring it up to speed with the rest of the league at this point. But especially if it's going to host that game. Yeah. But I think that's done at this point. I think they're going to move that game somewhere else.
I hope not.
But I mean, the Crew just got rid of the Marky Mark logo, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch logo, and went to the more Borussia Dortmund-esque logo and kind of modernized, and everything was looking up, and they were in, MLS Cup a few years ago, and then now
they were drug-free. They put the crack up.
Johnny D was on the backup.
And now they got Austin C on the backup.
Lots of musical references tonight.
Why?
We can. What else? Oh, you know what I wanted to bring up? We talk about Wando on this show. Did anybody see the Stuart Holden Let's Raise Money for Houston charity game? It was on Fox 1 over the weekend. It was pretty fun. It was a 60-yard field, and guys were subbing in and out. It was fun. They it was high score. I think it ended up being 12-12. Like Steve Nash played, Landon played. Deuce had a pretty sweet bicycle kick. My favorite part, though, came at halftime. They were taking penalties, and they had one of the skills rebounders on, so there were 4 corners. And if you hit the bottom 2, it was $1,000 for I think Continental Tire was donating to the flood relief. And if you hit the top 2 corners, it was like $1,500. Where do you think Wando put his? Over the bar.
He put it in Belgium.
Fucking Wando. So that was
fucking semifinal. Fucking Wando.
Yeah, that was entertaining. There was some D-bag YouTuber, not us. We're awesome YouTubers, but there was some guy who has a lot more followers than us. He was, doing poses and stuff, and but yeah, I otherwise I thought the game. Mia Hamm was awesome. I thought that Stuart Holden looked really good, like better than I've ever seen Stuart Holden look. It was his game.
I mean, he's still, but I could see where in something like this he's still going to look good because he's not that far removed from playing time. It's just his knees couldn't handle professional level. I mean, realistically, he could still be playing if not for all the blown out knees.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Wando's penalty landed in Leipzig's backyard, so we do have a landing spot.
Grown ass man looked good in that game too. It was good to see Eddie out there. Always liked him. So yeah, that was fun. Should we talk about this being the final show of 2017? Should we talk about the year that was?
I think we need to take a look back.
Forget about October. Just leave it out. Just pretend it didn't happen.
I don't want to take a look back at anything with a 10 involved in it.
We started the year. We had Bruce at the helm to start the year. We had Camp Cupcake. They looked fine. March qualifiers came around. San Jose. They looked amazing. Then they got the draw in Panama, I believe it went. June rolled around. They beat TNT in Denver 2-0. I was there for that one. And then they got the draw at Azteca, which we maybe celebrated a little bit too hard as a win, but I think a result at Azteca is a good thing. Michael Bradley had the amazing steal from Chicharito and chip from
Wonder Goal, Golazo.
It was, yeah. And then it,
whatever you want to call it.
Then it was, let's see, September rolled around. We won the Gold Cup. Okay. We had those cool jerseys, the Evil Knievel jerseys, and we had really dismal performances to start. Then we brought in Bradley and Josie and Deuce, all wearing numbers in the mid-20s, and ended up winning it. Played a pretty good game in the semifinal against Costa Rica, and then in the final, it was Jamaica. We beat Jamaica. And a bunch of Jamaicans thought we were the illegal feed for the game, and we got a bunch of views.
They did not like. Well, they also they watched. I did a segment for one of our friends for the friends of the show, Simon Preston, his Reggae Boys show, and I did a segment there and talked about my predictions for the game, and they did not like that I predicted the U.S. to win.
Yeah,
It was a bit like the Welsh not liking Bob Bradley and taking it out on us.
We were hated on, before we get to the September matches, we were hated on, let's see if you can help me remember, Chris. We were hated on by the Welsh. They hated us. The French.
That was fun.
The French hated us after we talked about.
The French hate everybody, so that's not really saying much.
U.S. France game, or it was She Believes Cup. I think.
There was some like women's channel that they decided they hated us and came after us for a while for commenting on that.
The English always hate us because we say soccer. The Germans like us, I think. I think they do. At least Sandra does, but I don't know I don't know if we have any others. Mexico fans hate us, but they hate us mostly in a loving way. Most of the Mexico fans who watch us are pretty cool. Some of them are dicks. Okay, so anyway, so we pissed off a lot of countries. It's always fun when we piss off a new country. I'm probably pissing off one night right now that I can't think of. But so yeah, September rolls around. It was what the hell were this? It was we played Red Bull. Was that Costa Rica?
Yes. Yep.
Was it September where we shit the bed against Costa Rica?
And then what was the other match in September? We were on the road, and it was the Bobby Wood goal in Honduras, right?
Got to be Honduras or Guatemala or Honduras.
Yeah, and then it was the October games. We won in Orlando. We felt good about ourselves. We knew what we needed to do going into Trinidad. And I don't remember what happened after that, but we got a lot of views that night, so good for us. Yeah.
Chris said a whole lot of four-letter words that night.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I have a tendency to do that anyway. A tendency to say a lot of them.
Joe was wrong.
I toned myself down for this. I don't think I had any kind of filter that night.
That was the best show ever. That was absolutely phenomenal.
I don't even remember. I've never gone back to watch. I don't even remember what I said, other than I remember saying U.S. soccer owes us something. Like, as fans, they owe us something. Like, they should buy back those Gold Cup jerseys or something. They should do something to just go, you know what? We fucked this. You guys get a gift. And no stupid like, 10% off and free shipping from the store. Yeah, like I want any of your crap right now.
Yeah. So that leaves us, that was the year. We know what happened. Bruce got fired. Dave Sarek was brought in as the interim. By the way, Laurent Blanc says he turned down the U.S. job. Sunil says it was never offered.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing both are probably very true.
If it was offered, it should not have been. We should not be hiring a coach before the presidential change in February. But I don't think.
Let's see what President Hope Solo wants.
I think maybe he came up to Laurent Blanc in an airport and he took that as the Federation asking him to be. I think maybe he turned down some guy.
Or maybe it's all just a big PR thing and he was trying to make himself look better and get some media coverage.
Well, didn't Big Sam do that so he could get a new job?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be the way, but I'm guessing there's probably truth. I'm guessing there's truth to it. An intermediary, an agent, somebody reached out just to gauge his interest, so he said he turned the job down, but it was somebody.
I'm sure you. Yeah, no, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure U.S. Soccer made phone calls or something to people, just asked, what are their thoughts? Because if nothing else, you just want some people on the line. You want to know that there's somebody as a possibility, or you're just gauging interest. You're trying to see who could you get. they may not even want, like maybe they didn't even want Sam Allardyce, but you put him, like you start talking about it, so it works for both of them. Sam wants a job. He wants to be courted by someone with a name. We want coaches with a name, so we like to have our name as U.S. Soccer thrown in the ring as, oh hey, this guy might go there. So it could just be both sides using each other,
Yeah, there's probably a bit of truth, but whatever. I hope we don't hire anybody for a long time.
We don't need anybody until we get to the He Believes Cup this summer, or whatever we're going to call it, the next four out cup. Is that what it's going to be?
We are playing
if we're
in France, right? A warm-up game. So there will be no.
We are in France.
Mm-hmm. Which is good. That's what we want. We want to be in somewhat. We weren't going to be in the World Cup, but a warm-up game in Europe before the World Cup with a really, really good team is a decent game to be playing in. So if we're going to be on the sidelines, at least you want to be on the sidelines in something relatively decent. So that's good. Yeah. So what do we want for 2018? We're not going to play any competitive matches in the next year. What do you want? I just hope our guys our young players continue to develop, McKinney and Pulisic and hopefully Jonathan Gonzalez and if he's going to be one of our players and I hope they continue to develop at their club teams. I hope young players continue to have success at club teams. That's all I really want. I don't care about anything else but that. You can maybe when August rolls around, we can talk about who we want to be the coach. I don't know that I care who wins the Federation presidency because I think Kathy Carter is going to win it because that's the way things work. But
oh shit, Kathy Carter.
Shit. Third musical reference.
Three words, motherfuckers. President Hope Solo. Just to see the Twitter meltdown. That's the only reason why I want to see it. And then they realize she failed the background check.
That would be the best show if she wins it. We still don't know. Do we still not?
Do we release the poster if that happens?
Have they said
no.
The background checks haven't been completed yet, right? We know that.
No, they won't. They won't.
3 votes, but we don't know anything else. So transparent, U.S. Soccer, so good and transparent.
I was speaking to. Oh,
well, I was just going to say the follow-up question is: I know we don't know who the presidential candidates. Do we really care? Other than curiosity?
I mean,
I care in the sense that I don't want somebody who's completely batshit crazy, and I don't want somebody who's a complete insider. I want somebody in the middle. So whether it's Kyle or who is quickly becoming my choice, because I kind of want a soccer person too. I think Kyle fits. He ticks all the boxes of what I would want as a federation president, but I think Winalda would be fine. By the way, the Winalda people, though, the pro-rel people / Winalda people pissed me off again over the weekend on Twitter with some Twitter account has a report, that Landon and Mia Hamm and Tab are calling people shilling for Kathy Carter, to which Landon responded with if you do this again, I'll sue you. But it doesn't matter because everybody took that then. Not everybody. Some people are smart, but a lot of people took that because that's what they believed or that's what they wanted to hear. And I've lost all respect for Landon and blah, 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 blah. The way this works is if you're going to do an anonymous source thing, you better have 2 or a paper trail that shows something hard and clear or a golden source like
really
told you.
Really?
Doing this.
This is soccer Twitter. Really?
Really? People can't tell the difference between soccer Twitter and, a real reporter. And that's what's scary because
how many times have I said Twitter is not reality? Period.
It's insane.
That's not what you wrote on Wikipedia.
Somebody would go, I want to get angry about people being insiders and Winalda's my guy. Yeah. I'm going to go out and like the Illinois State Soccer Federation tweeted about this and backed this up. Like, you don't know that this is true. And just because Landon said it's not true doesn't mean that, it's not true. People lie all the time. But my read on this is that it was absolutely not true until I see some other facts or other people talking about it. Landon was very quick with the "I'll sue your ass if you do this again," which again is not, sometimes people do that. I've had that done to me too.
So say that can also be that's true, and I don't want you to say it. So you better show you have evidence to prove I said that.
Flexing my muscle and trying to shut this down. I've seen that. I've had that done to me, but back when I was a real reporter. But before I just brought you this crap. But yeah, just stop listening to this garbage. And know the source. Like and quit spreading. The worst part is people spreading around the bullshit when something they don't know if it's right or wrong. They want to believe it, so they spread it. Stop with that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so as far as Federation president goes, Kyle would be fine. I think Ronaldo would be fine, and he doesn't seem nearly as crazy as people once thought he would be.
I was speaking, as I told you guys, I was speaking to a certain former MLS GM over the weekend. Since he, it's not like I was speaking to him as USfanTV. I was just hanging out in the bar with him, so I won't say who it was. But he was saying that he was going to come out officially in support of Ronaldo this week. I think tomorrow or something. And he seems to think that there's more players ready to vote for Ronaldo than it would seem. Although he thinks that, I can't think of who it was, there's a woman who may help split the vote and may actually shift it to Kathy Carter, that they may not vote as a whole block because...
You're talking about the players?
I'm sorry, what did you just say? It broke up.
You're talking about the players voting as a whole block?
Yes, yeah.
20% of the vote, I believe the players have. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily, it's not enough to win the election, but it could be enough to sway an election depending on the rest of the votes. He certainly believes that, Kathy Carter and who's the guy that's the vice president of one of the leagues, he said kind of mainstream candidates, he was kind of in agreement that they certainly have an inside track, but he seems to believe that Ronaldo has a real shot. I don't know if that's just his opinion because he's supporting him, but he did say that some of Ronaldo's ideas he thinks are maybe too much, but that he's in support of a number of them, and that includes pro-rel and changing to the FIFA calendar.
This is also the same guy who thinks that Chicago's going to get an NASL team. So we're going to step back from that one. Now, as the selection gets closer, my question is, does John Hark sleep with Ronaldo's wife again just so this
Hearts fucked up the 98 World Cup.
Bringing back another of our presidential signs from last year.
Yeah. Oh, hope.
We need hope.
A bit ago.
We need hope. Although I would be okay with Kyle Martino only because every Cartman quote now comes into play.
You can.
Shut up, Cal.
Kyle's very polished. I like it, if you want a face and you want somebody who's skilled at.
And I feel like Chris is ripping off Kyle's hair at this point.
Oh, Chris is he's been a Kyle Martino.
Hey, I'm older than Kyle Martino, so he's ripping me off.
Right.
I went gray before Kyle Martino too. So
Christian said a while ago, Kyle, Ronaldo, or Steve Gans. I agree. Those are the three that I think have. Steve Gans, he's an attorney, but I think I've liked everything I've heard from him. So maybe there's something that would cause me to not like him, but I think he's been good. I think he's been smart.
I'm 100% in favor of Hope Solo just because I want to see the impending meltdown from it. It's entertainment. It's entertainment at this point.
People get angry and vote in a crazy person because they want change and they don't think it's going to it happens and it is as bad as people thought. And the crazy person just keeps doing crazy things and then you can't get rid of them. Have you ever seen
it becomes a global debacle?
Yeah.
Or they start a US soccer.
I think there's YouTube. Start what?
This is a good one. USA sucks at soccer because they trailer trash. Yes, the richest nation in the world, the one that invented the medium that you're communicating with us right now, and probably the device you're talking to us on, and the website that we're using to broadcast this, and the people who brought you any number of things. Our trailer trash. That's right.
And hey, don't forget to thank Al Gore.
That's right.
Al Gore brought us this medium this evening.
And he saved it in a lockbox. That's my third SNL reference tonight.
And you still haven't done Dick in a Box?
Not yet.
Forgot about that one. That was good.
It is Christmas.
What do you guys want to see for 2018?
I want to see Keaton Parks make the team at Benfica. Josh Sargent get in the team at Bremen, and McKennie. I want to see Weston McKennie truly earn a starting spot and really start to shine for Schalke. So far he's been, it's positive to see him with a lot of playing time, but I wouldn't say he's lighting up the Bundesliga yet. I'd like to see him truly showing that he is the future for the U.S.
Christian wants.
Those are probably my three big ones.
Christian,
what do you want? Ice cream nachos at a Fire game?
What's that, Pat?
Oh, I forgot. My biggest one. Jonathan Gonzalez, don't go to Mexico.
Yeah, I think if we make it through the year without him going, if we make it through June, we're probably safe. If he's going to go to Mexico, he's going to go before the World Cup, right? I would think. So that's a big one. Do we want Christian Pulisic to leave Dortmund for a bigger club in this year? I don't think I do. I don't think I do.
I mean, depending on where he goes, I guess I can say fine. But I mean, look, I like Dortmund. He's shining there. I don't know where else he's going to go that he's going to be the man. So I'm cool with him staying there. Taking the heat, taking the pressure, being the center of attention, which, I mean, really, if Aubameyang ever does leave,
didn't he resign? I believe
maybe. But Suarez re-signed just before jumping to Barcelona,
True.
I think I don't see Aubameyang leaving right now because, in the next, say, year, probably because he just hasn't been that great this season. But if and when he ever does leave, and if Royce can't stay healthy for more than 2 weeks at a time, Pulisic's the center of that team. Now, granted, I mean, they could have Mkhitaryan back, which might actually benefit Pulisic. That might give him some more freedom to play.
I guess for me, a couple things. I want to see Leipzig make an appearance on the show. That's goal. Not intern. I want to actually see him on the show once. I can't see that being anything but awesomeness. Pulisic, no, I don't want to see him going anywhere. If he goes to a bigger club, he's going to sit on the bench. It doesn't do much for me. And beyond,
he is the 77th best player in the world, TJ.
Having said that, Marcus Rashford was 75. He doesn't have a lockdown number one spot.
Was 81, so that just shows me that I'm not real sold on this one either. So
I don't know that I would say he sits the bench, but I do feel like he has less pressure on him. Part of what I like about him being at Dortmund is because he is so central to everything, he's carrying the pressure of that team and of that city behind him. And he's going to have to do that for the U.S. So I want to see him in high-pressure situations, central figure situations where, the outcome of the game is dependent upon the quality of his play.
Yes, like I've said, the only big club that for me feels right would maybe be Bayern, but sorry, Sandra, but I don't think that's the move yet. It doesn't feel right quite yet. So I don't know. Anybody can fail at Real Madrid. We've seen gigantic names go there and not be the best player they could be. Barcelona is kind of a different animal. You got to kind of fit into that. Coming to the Premier League, I don't know where I'd want him. Klopp comes to mind in Liverpool, but is that really a
don't ever say that again.
Hey, I know you hate Liverpool, but I really like Jurgen Klopp. So there's a book coming out, by the way. Raphael Honigstein, the guy who wrote Das Reboot, a book that we've talked about a lot on the show, has a Jurgen Klopp book coming out early next year. I'm excited for that. One of the cool things that happens right before the World Cup is a lot of cool soccer books are coming out. It happens every time. We don't get to be in the World Cup, but there's going to be stuff to read while we're watching other players and other people in the World Cup. Pulisic at Chelsea, God, I hope not.
Ugh. I mean, what would he even do there?
I would actually hate Pulisic if he went to Chelsea because I despise Chelsea. I'm okay with Pulisic, like Pat said. I'm okay with him actually at Liverpool. I know it pains Chris to say that, and I know that's kind of a dirty word for Chris, Liverpool in that sense. But
realistically, and I don't like to say this, but of the English teams, there's only like 2 teams where I could see kind of where he logically fits in that starting 11. And one is Liverpool, and the other is
Arsenal.
A team people do believe we've never heard of before.
Yeah, maybe. I could see him fitting at Arsenal if
I guess. Yeah, I mean,
Alexis
that's true. That's true. Without Alexis there.
But let me say this about Tottenham.
But I don't want to see him go to a shittier team. And let's be honest, Arsenal's a shittier team than Dortmund.
I'll say this about Tottenham. I hate Tottenham so much that I stopped liking Clint Dempsey, and it was hard for me to like him again when he went there. It really bothered me.
Didn't Dempsey leave Spurs? Didn't he? His next stop was Seattle.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why that took longer to like him again.
It took a while.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you think of any less likable team other than after Spurs than maybe Seattle?
Well, we got one who went from Seattle to Spurs, so
yeah. And then I didn't hate him the same way, DeAndre. Maybe because he didn't
have the same weight of the U.S. Behind him,
and he did not have the Deuce face.
Yeah, I like Deuce again.
He does have like shitlocks hair though. If you guys have ever seen Booty Call,
I don't think I have.
One of my favorite Jamie Foxx movies. I've heard of dreadlocks. What are shitlocks?
Watch a lot of Jamie Foxx movies.
I can only think of that one and Ray, but I quite enjoy Booty Call. I actually think it's a really funny movie. What do you guys want to happen to Bradley and Altidore regarding their USMNT future? Over.
Done. Yeah. Gone.
Yeah.
They can get the water slices at halftime.
Maybe there's a scenario. Josie gets called in again if they need him.
Josie I would allow, I guess, here and there, maybe as a just sort of as a locker room guy to like maybe help some of the other guys understand the experience. But for the most part, they're both too old by the time the next World Cup comes around. I'd rather we just start rolling in the new talent and with the exception of a few instances where, okay, we use some guys just as locker room, help maintain the spirit in the locker room, help them understand that this is an important game or this isn't an important game, or you don't have to get so worked up about this. This is when you can stay calm. You should be amped up for this game. Okay, that stuff. I can see a few instances where I would give some guys that are in that 28-ish range the chance to play again. But as far as I'm concerned, otherwise, everybody who's probably over 26 should just be done. And I might even go, I mean, I've said 25, I think, in the past. If you're over 25, because realistically, we have a ton of young guys coming through. Why would we keep playing 30-year-olds in the next World Cup?
Well, let me throw this one to you. What about Josie and like old Hercules Gomez or what Wando couldn't score and failed to do type role? A 70th minute type, what we were hoping that Deuce would.
Well, yeah.
Fine.
He leaned on to do it.
Maybe. But I kind of feel like Josie isn't enough of a goal poacher to be that guy. I mean, maybe he'll change it over the next like 2, 3, 4 years in his career. But for the most part, I feel like he kind of has his one style of play, and that's always the player he'll be. He's not enough of a just in the box goal poacher or like in the 6-yard box goal poacher. And that's really, I think, who that guy needs to be. Like Dempsey's a poacher. Dempsey just has a nose for goal. Josie wants to do more out there. He wants to use his size, his skill, his athleticism. Dempsey wanted to dribble a few times, but was always just looking to put the ball in the back of the net.
What about Josie Moore is one then that comes in when you're ahead and you need to hold that ball. You need to hold, or somebody to go 1-on-6 because you're defending at the end of a game kind of thing.
I mean, I guess I'm open to it. I still feel, or I hope that we have enough young guys coming up, who could be here in the next 4 years, who will be better strikers, and we just won't need him.
We should talk about Bobby Wood. There was some talk of Bobby Wood on the live chat a minute ago. He's struggling. I mean, what needs to happen there in 2018? Does he need a change of scenery?
He may need to move. I mean, when even like managers are talking about, he's having trouble. When they're openly discussing things aren't working for you, he's probably not going to have a place here in the near future or something. You have to start looking at what does it take to get back into that lineup? What does it take to win that? The team's trust again, not just the manager, but also kind of the business side of it. What does it take to get back in there and prove that you can stay? I don't know. Maybe he does need to take a step back, go down to like League Two and see if
send him back.
That helps him.
Send him back to Union Berlin where he had a little bit of success.
Yeah.
Oh, Howard and Guzan have to be gone.
Oh yeah. My age, they both need to be gone. Seriously.
Howard, Howard was done regardless. He was hitting that wall same way kind of Casey Keller did.
Yeah.
I don't see him. I'm not sure he'll make 40 even like in MLS. He's slowing down, which is helping he's losing the ability to compensate for some of his faults in positioning and things, and then he's just getting too injured now. I mean, he took a goal kick and tore a muscle, in that US-Mexico game. These are things that come in your late 30s, and to think he's going to be playing over 40, I don't believe it. Guzan, I think he's done just because, if nothing else, even if he could play in 5 years, and I mean, you're talking him at almost 40 at that point too. He's still,
again. There's enough upcoming.
There's enough upcoming that I'm not really looking for him to be there.
I mean,
but even if he could, I kind of feel like, why push another guy to 40 when we should have better players coming up who are younger and can stay with it for a while? Not to mention, I think Guzan falls into there's a stain on all those guys for not qualifying. And I think he'll always hold that. And some of that may be in his head, and some of it will be in everyone else's head.
All right, here's my question for you. Who's off the radar that is back on the radar by the end?
I was gonna ask the same question. This will be the final question of the night. That's a good question. Aaron Johansson for me. I think he makes some kind of a comeback at some point here.
Can he stay healthy long enough to have a chance?
Hopefully.
CJ Sapong?
Julian?
Julian was one I was thinking of. The other one is Zalalem.
Oh God.
He's walking. He can apparently walk again or something. So
yeah, but he's still only 20 years old.
Yeah. Is it a comeback? Because he's never actually played for us. So Zalalem would be more of a debut, as weird as it seems with him. But
I would say you need to give somebody like him a run out. I agree with the concept of nobody over 25, except of course for DeMarcus Beasley. I think he needs to be there until he can't walk anymore.
He's the one exception. Yeah, you just take him forever.
What about Juan Agudelo? The dude's only still like 25 or something.
Right.
Like that. So he could, in theory, still be there. I kind of feel like if you haven't sort of made it by 24, you're kind of this is your peak. He always offers something that so many of our other strikers have not to this point. The problem is he can just never keep it all in one place. Kind of, he's so hit or miss.
I honestly didn't realize he was only 25. I honestly thought he was like.
I know you'd think he was like 40. It seems like as long as he's been playing. I mean, it seems like his first U.S. game was at least 10 years ago. Was it maybe 8, 7, 6,
5,
4, 3?
Yeah, we're working.
All right, I think we've covered it. This is USFanTV. We have a website. It's USFanTV.com. We have Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. They are all USFanTV. No Snapchat. You know about the Craigslist. YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't. Many of you have. This is YouTube, of course. You're watching it right now, looking at us. We do shows here Tuesday and Thursday nights, but we're not going to do one for a while. We're taking the rest of December off. We're going to see you again in January, when presumably there's going to be stuff to talk about in the world of U.S. soccer. So in the meantime, subscribe if you haven't. Tell your friends, tell them we're going to be back and whatever. Thanks to everybody who some of you were here unbelievably at the start of the year, and we've picked up a lot of you along the way. Some of you guys are actually really smart and funny, and we like having you here, and others
are just King Leipzig.
Yeah. Others, we like having you here too. Leipzig, get my coffee, please. TJ, do you have any final words for 2017?
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or whatever you decide to for everybody, except you, Chris. Fuck you, Chris. The refs are right. You're wrong, Chris.
He means Wondolowski.
No, I mean fuck you, Chris. Happy Holidays, everybody. See you in 2018.
Chris.
That would be me. Thanks, everybody. Been another crazy year. It certainly had a lull there, or a terrible, terrible low point. But hopefully things are looking up from here. So thanks to you guys sticking around and bringing your friends or whatever with us. That's been awesome. I will say, while we were speaking of Barcelona, this reminded me to say something. The second week of January, I will not be around, as my girlfriend, who I've been told I have to describe as the greatest girlfriend on earth, is taking me to Barcelona. So
I would say the dumbest one, because she's putting up with your dumb ass.
Well,
and you're going to a match, is that right? You're trying to go to a match?
Yes, I am trying to go to a match. So yes, I intend to see the one, the only Lionel Messi for the second time in a year and a half.
In his home environment.
Yeah,
will it be? Question is, what country will you be in when you visit in a few weeks? Will it still be Spain?
Yeah.
But yeah, that should be amazing. That's a city I've always wanted to visit, and actually, it's a city I was going to visit, but then that whole threat of civil war broke out, and we decided, I asked my son, where do you want to go? And he's like, let's go to Germany instead. I'm like, okay, we'll go to Germany. So that's what we're doing in March. But you turn this Barcelona trip around fast.
Oh, yeah. We just did this the other day.
On an international trip in a couple weeks? Okay, cool.
Well, you got to strike while the iron's hot or something like that.
All right, so I don't expect you'll be on the show when you're in Barcelona, but maybe you can shoot some pretty pictures for the website or something.
See what I can, yeah.
If you get Messi.
If I get a Messi interview, that's going up, yeah.
Pull that off in Spanish. I don't think he speaks English, so maybe he does and just doesn't want to. I don't know. All right, thanks for being here. For the final time in 2017, you are done.